Good evening, good evening. This is Alfie Kingdom. I got a special guest for the podcast this evening. I'm gonna go ahead and let her introduce herself. Y'all know me, but you're gonna get a chance to know her, know what she's about, and everything under the sun. So let me go ahead and bring her on.
Hi, how are you? Good evening.
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing good, and thank you for allowing me to be on your show, your platform.
It's all good.
It's exciting.
It's all good. So first things first, tell everybody where you from.
I'm from New Orleans.
New Orleans.
I presently go back and forth between Louisiana and Houston. But I'm from the boot, from Louisiana.
Yeah. So for people that's not from Louisiana, what kind of attributes does that bring to the surface? You know, I'll say one time I went to Louisiana, I thought it was funny that everybody calls you baby. You know what I mean?
Well, that's a New Orleans thing. In other parts, they'll call you sweetie, honey. They'll call you baby, but the baby that most people reference in terms of Louisiana is like baby. The New Orleans style of baby, I guess you could say.
Got you. Well, you are an entrepreneur. I know that, but yeah, and you run different businesses, and you have a lot of entrepreneurship experience. So tell the audience a little bit about that.
Okay, I own several companies right now. My focus is on my company, Potential Credit Solutions LLC, where we focus on personal credit, business credit. And last year, I launched another division of my company, which is business consulting. And that has really taken off because I would find that most of my clients either once their personal credit was done, they wanted to launch a business, or they came to us and got on board because of our ability to scale your business credit while we're fixing personal credit simultaneously. So these are people who have a business and they had a desire to expand their business. Franchising. We do a lot with the business credit, business development piece.
What's the most exciting thing about what you do?
Helping people.
Yeah.
Prior to COVID, I worked as a director of marketing and business and vendor relationships for a long time at acute care hospital. Prior to that, I've worked with home health, hospice, inpatient and outpatient physical therapy. I'm the person that they would bring in and say, hey, we've got the ability to take X amount of patients. We only have this many patients. We want you to get us from here to here. And so then I would go and devise a plan. I'm a grower. I create increase. That is what I did. But my father and mother died during COVID. And right at the onset of COVID, when everything was shut down, my dad told me, Jen, I don't ever want you to go back into those hospitals. Don't go back. Don't do that. And so, in honoring him, I said, well, I got something else I can do. It's been about 2 months talking about it before he died. He never got to see it. I launched my company. It's like being in healthcare. I'm not a nurse, but I worked on the administrative side, the marketing side. I created relationships. And thus I learned the system. Because I was able to help a lot of patients in a kind of go-around way of people. And I garnered a good relationship and a good reputation being able to help people with their parents. And so the business I'm in now, I'm helping families. Every time they go in their house, they remember my company. Their mortgage broker sent them. We got their mortgage ready. The realtor sent them. Small banks. So that's what I do. I help people all day. I make dreams come true. Me and my team.
That's excellent. So for people who want to be entrepreneurships, what's 3 tips that you could give them?
People would like to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Don't follow money. Follow your talent. What are you good at? If the business that you are looking at, participating in, does not fit your personality, you shouldn't get involved in that. What am I saying? You take Coach Deion Sanders. He's an excellent coach. But, if Deion was the pastor, He'd be excellent at that. If Dion was just a motivational speaker, which he is, and that's all he did, he'd be good. If Deion Sanders, for lack of a better explanation, was going to be the next Nino Brown, he could do that too, because he has a level of authority and encouragement in his demeanor. And so being a good coach, that fits in the recruiter. People want to be around him. When you look at a professional, you think of like Training Day with Denzel. Not necessarily his best acting, but people went wild over that because it's probably the character that's most aligned with this personality. Mm-hmm. So I know for myself, when I looked at the business I'm in, I knew credit. I knew how credit works. I'd been involved in some real estate deals with my ex-husband. I understood how that works. The biggest thing in this type of business, if you don't have anyone's credit to fix, you have a bunch of equipment and knowledge. Mm-hmm. You've got to be able to get the client. So this is a very social vocation. I know that's the first thing. Does what you want to do fit your personality? So if somebody's not outgoing, you don't like to be out and about, you wouldn't enjoy this because you got to build this first before they come. So that's the first thing. Number 2, count the cost. Understand what it costs. What are all the tools? And not just tools, but what kind of relationships would you need to build your business from the ground up? If it requires you to be stationary, there's some businesses where you're directing everything from your computer. You can work from home. But now you can't be out and about. Or you're a person who can just be sedentary all day. You can just sit there and work for hours and hours in front of a computer. I can't do that. I get in my truck sometimes and drive around the subdivision and then come back. Mm-hmm. That's the person. So you're gonna look at what it takes, and you're gonna count the cost. You should never bootleg in your business. Mm-hmm. The third thing is understand. Well, I guess this kind of goes within. Understand your skill set. Stop trying to do everything you have to have for your business. If you're not in the business of building websites, for instance, I tell my clients, your website is your invitation to the ball for your clients. Mm-hmm. You want to make sure that it is of a certain level of discretion, and you don't do websites, so pay for what you want. That's one of the biggest things. Don't come into business trying to do everything yourself. Understand how the billing works in your business. Or are you in the type of business that's going to run on the net 60 or net 90? A lot of contractor jobs, that's how they run. Big contractor companies like hospitals and stuff, they're waiting on insurance sometimes to pay them to pay out their vendors because they're billing on what's called net 60. In private sector, we're used to net 30. So that's just really different, kind of technical. But the bottom line is you've got to know the personality, what it takes to get clients, how much you got to have a budget, how much equipment, the right equipment, and then be willing to pay and subcontract other things that you may need, especially your marketing, your social media, and your website. That's 3 things. Be ready to work.
Oh, good. Let me ask you this. So you do a show in the closet. So you jumping into the content creating game. Do you have any fears or aspirations, or where do you see your channel going?
Oh, I do have aspirations. I'll tell you. Pre-Katrina, New Orleans had 2 disasters within a 13-year period or whatever. We had Hurricane Katrina, we had COVID. So pre-Katrina, I was in movies. I have an IMDb, and I used to host a show called New Orleans Live. And in that show, I was able to tune into a skill that I have. I didn't even know it was a skill. But I would interview people live. I didn't own that show, but I was just talent. I would interview people, clients, or guests live, while 3 cameramen are switching cameras and talking to me at the same time. And I'm just proud to say the owners of the show were very impressed with my ability to just, run with it. Like they said, just run it, just talk, just keep on going, entertain my guests, remember my cues, stand where I needed to stand. So I have that experience. In the Closet is my baby. Let me tell you how it was created. My ex-husband and I pastored a church. COVID disabled the church in a sense, and then we got a second property kind of relocated to the Houston area. I wasn't sure what we were going to say, but at this point, we're basically doing service online, and our relationship was not the best at the time. And I felt a calling to, even before we started that, address things that I don't see the churches, especially Black churches, different issues that they didn't address. And so I started this show in the early spring of 2021, from the closet of the house we leased when we first moved here, and it's grown. So at the end of the day, I would love to have a set. I'm literally in my closet. This is not as bad. Someone asked me, do I go somewhere to do this? That's my clothes and my closet. I would love to expand on that concept and keep growing my guest profiles. I'd love to have a show.
Got you. Well, I know that you're a mom, so tell the audience how many kids you have and what's the being a mother.
No, I've got 2 grown kids and a middle school.
Okay. You said 2. You said 1 grown and 1 middle school. Is that what you said?
2 grown. 2 college graduates.
2 grown and 1 in middle school.
Yeah, one that's 13.
Got you. So, aside from that, you've been married before. I know you had a book.
Yeah, I have a book.
Mm-hmm.
I have it right here. Yeah.
There you go. Let's talk about the book. And would you ever see yourself getting married again?
Oh, I'm definitely getting married.
Yeah.
It's not going to be that long. But I will get married again. Wife positioning. It's called Wife Positioning Attract Your Husband. I actually wrote the book. I've been writing the book for many years and didn't realize I was writing a book. Let me say that. Through different experiences that God allowed me to have. As we go from New Orleans to Atlanta after Katrina, I meet different people. And I just began every now and then I make notes. I find different points that, I thought I was designing this book or authoring this book for women of color primarily. And then I discovered along that journey that, you know what, a lot of women use the same advice. I was brought up a certain way. I guess one of the closest references I could give that almost everybody would know would be the Cosby Show. Or I really relate to shows like Bridgerton. So my upbringing was kind of structured, and I find people who grow up in that, they look at marriage a little different, more different than people that I've met along my journey that grow up in a more loose construct, I guess you could say. Not loose, but it's not all prim and proper and balls and debutantes and such. So
you understand the purpose and the business of it.
I do. That's a great way to put it. I do understand marriage. In my mind, love comes and goes. Being in love is seasonal. One thing's got to be loyal. And loyalty is that's my break. For me to be in a relationship with somebody, and I think this has been an asset and a curse in both of my marriages, how I was raised and what I believe and the sentiment of loyalty that I care about myself and how that is so important.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be loyal to it. You gotta be like a gang member when it comes to your marriage. Nothing and nobody can come first. And I particularly find people of color they seem to have a hard time with that across the board. And I make that call based on even little things I feel like social media and what their complaints are. I'm like, really? They don't have a clue. So I wrote the book because a lot of Black women, I think, we are mistreated every day. From kindergarten to college. That's the general prospect. And so we're here. Women of other races are groomed, in many cases, to be married. Not all of them, but on a broad scale. They're groomed to be married. You take, I've dealt with and had a few associations like people from India. That's when I worked in healthcare. Their perspective on marriage not all of them, but the majority, they try to marry other people who are Indian. Middle Easterns a lot of time are seeking out counterparts that are Middle Eastern. Why is this? And I mean, I come from my family's got a Creole background. The way you see marriage, property. Everybody's bringing the assets to the marriage. That's really how marriage goes. What you eat. If you marry somebody who is from a similar place than you, they just can't be black or white, but are they from a similar construct? You from the hood, they from the hood. There are certain things people who don't grow up in the hood would never understand. So there, I see a wealth in being able to bond with and be married to people who, you got a similar background, similar upbringing. Understanding marriage. Do you have the same morals? What is an example of marriage you've even seen? A lot of people don't understand. Marriage, everybody's bringing what happened at their house. I can't bring marriage according to what happened at your house because your family didn't raise me. So a lot of times people get together and they don't have the same value moral system. It doesn't mean one is bad or the other. It's just not coming together. So
I'm gonna give you some game. We call that batch. So the summary is that it's batch. You got to know your batch. You know what I'm saying? So the reason why a lot of people have complications in their relationships, I won't even say marriage, is because they trying to date outside of the batch. They only date off desire. You know what I'm saying? And once you mature as a man, you understand that what you need is not what you want. And once you figure that out, then you can selectively choose the mate that you're supposed to have.
I don't necessarily agree with that.
Unpack it.
Well, basically, I talk about in my book, for instance, being from Louisiana, and I have people. I've had people along the way because of how I'm married before, and people, the few relationships I've had. I haven't had many relationships. I've had long-lasting relationships, not situationships. And the comment has been made, you only like a certain kind of guy. And that's not really true. But it is true. But it's not based on looks. It is based on, do we come from a similar family? Do we raise the same? Do we eat the same? Like, if I did a Creole guy, I can make crawfish that you say, fish coubillon, all of it. As I raised, I can't really see myself being with somebody from Brooklyn because I ain't grow up in New York. I've been in New York about 6 times in my life. So I don't come from the same background. Or somebody who was Haitian, I can't cook for you, like, really. I guess I could learn. So for me, I guess it's been a comfortability. I've always kind of seeking out similarities with the people that I've dealt with. And then my dad, I think a lot of times if I notice certain characteristics of my dad and a guy, subconsciously, that I've chosen people who kind of mirror my dad.
It's cool. Well, just to let you know, you didn't really disagree with me. You're saying the same thing to elaborate my point. It's the batch. So let me give you a visualization. You come from the Cosby Show batch. So that's a batch. Family Matters, that's a batch. Whole different vibe, whole different family. Yes. Martin, that's a batch. So thanks. Yes. So I'm showing you a new thing. So that summarizes how you, if you win a cigar and a wine, that's the batch. That's a vibe. If you come from a big family, another that's. But it just depends on, because people are different now. You know what I mean? We are older. You know what I'm saying? I'm 43, and you are how old you are. So we come from a different vibe. These 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds that's coming up that are raised from social media, it's just different. Just like even I talked to my buddy, even little things like having a threesome or being bisexual, it's like regular now. I remember it was like a dum dum dum, like back in the day.
Yeah, I haven't.
Crazy times, and you were at the right age in the 90s. That was the most popping time, I think.
In the 90s?
Yeah, that was the popping. I was Yeah, I wish I was like club age in the '90s. I was a teenager, but I wish I was in the club age. Seemed like that was the
I
most
tell you,
popular.
the 90s were kind of different for me because I go to college and by my second year, second semester in college, I was expecting my first child. So I finished college with 2 kids. I typed my last semester, in every semester after I had my first child, I made the dean's list. Kind of crazy. But the last semester, I must have did 8 term papers, and I typed them all with my son and see across all that. Let me just see across all that. And I guess the typewriter was soothing to him. Yeah, I finished, and they still had typewriters. And now he's a writer. He actually works for Google. He's got a degree in film from Dillard University, and he's a writer. So, but, you know, long story short, I found that my college days were cut short. That was a blessing.
Yeah.
And at first, it was a little harder to finish, but I finished. And then I was single with 2 kids, but I had a great support system. So then what I found is all of my, friends, but friends, a lot of associates, people I went to school with, what's happening now, they get out of college and they're going to work, they're getting married, they're having babies. I passed up on an engagement and finished school into the workforce with my 2 kids and bought a Mustang, and you know, now it's popping. So I guess I had the college experience, I had the club experience after I got out of college. Well,
Gotcha.
but I had money to spend.
Gotcha.
So.
Let's if we were to read your book, what would be like 3 key principles out that book, like takeaways, if you were to summarize it? And I can just give you a labor example. I got a book that's written for females. It's a trilogy called Finesse Game, and that's analogy. It stands for find an intent necessary, never empower someone else's endeavors. And so with that book, you go into it wanting to finesse a man out the ring by being what it is that he wants to see. So the thing about the book is everything that talks about trust, loyalty. I talk about what it is, and I give a personal example of that, of how I got that emotion, and then I give you an example of what you can do to a man. And by the end of the book, you're really learning personal development.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I'll tell you, one thing I talk about in the book is, I don't talk about it. It starts off, I've been married right, I've been married wrong. The elephant in the room is I voted and I'm still married, and so I've been married wrong twice. Because I thought it was right. His representative was a hell of a man, Lord. And I would say, each time I would say I was married to some little great guys. They just were not, I could not be what they wanted, and they couldn't be what I needed. And in my book, first takeaway is that I talk about being a franchise player. Now, the franchise player is a woman who has all of her things together. She understands clearly, first of all, what league she needs to be in. Are you a football player? Are you a basketball player? Because once you understand the type of athlete you are drawn according to maybe physical attributes. You like the game, but you got to pass to make it to the NBA and the NFL. You got to be passionate about it. So you got to be honest with who you are. I'm talking about in the book. Who are you unapologetic? Who are you? And then from there, when you are the best you can be, you don't have to look for a man, because men, you're going to get recruited. You want to be recruited as a franchise player. Franchise player can always go to another team if they get injured, it don't work out on that team. But what you don't want to do is be on the practice team. There are a lot of women, they are on the practice team. Thus, they never get signed, but they played on a lot of teams. You got to understand, a franchise player like LeBron, even though he's playing with younger players, he's in shape. He has a regimen. He is not going to let himself go. So, obviously, he's in enough shape, mind, body, and spirit. There's people who are way younger than them. What am I saying to women? They always got a rookie coming behind you. She got better breasts, better face, better hair. She might be more educated, but if you have made yourself valuable, you can always get fired. I make the analogy in my book for women who feel like, well, I've had kids, I haven't been married, or I'm divorced and now I got to get remarried. It's about building yourself up. A Benz, a Ferrari, when they sell them, or they never use, they're what, pre-owned.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to design and take care of and build yourself so that you are always pre-owned. I guess once you get to be over 60, you'll be classic. If you got to be single then and start all over. But you can always start over. I hear a lot of people say, well, that didn't work out, never getting married. Never. How many car wrecks have you had? Are you walking? You wreck your car and you catch the bus? No, you get another car. So it's about being resilient. The most important thing I think I share in my book is the list. And it talks about my own personal journey where I have to say, you know what, if you're not satisfied with the kind of guys that you want, first of all, if you're true, the kind of man that you desire to have in your life, are you true to yourself? You got to be honest about who you can and can't live with, what you want, what you don't want. Sometimes people may find it offensive. I don't care. Like, I do not deal with men who have little kids. Do I dislike kids? No, but I don't want to be involved with. I don't do baby mama drama. I'm not used to that. I don't want that. I'm not comfortable in that. I'll probably be better off holding it down for 2 or 3 years while you're in jail. I can do that a lot better than jail. I don't like chaos. So with that, knowing who I am, I did it twice. I wrote a list of what I wanted. And each time, within about 30 to 90 days after writing that list, a man showed up. Now, in that list, you're talking about God. I literally wrote a list. God, I would love to have a husband. But God, I want you to make him like this. And I listed all the things. I want you to be short. I want a tall man. And it's like they say, pray with specificity. Why should I lie to God? He knows what I like, what I don't like. And what I don't like should not be offensive. This is how he made me.
I like that. Why should I lie to God? He already knows. I like that.
Yeah. I mean, he designed it this way. I'm not going to change what I like, who I like, because I realize the faults in me.
Right.
And that's one thing I put at the end of that list. And the second list, I said, that God, I think the first time is most important. My first time doing it, and I realized in that first list, there's some things you got to sometimes write what you don't want. But the last thing I said is, God, make the necessary changes in me. You may have met a man who could be your potential husband, and you could be a wife too, several times. But because you were not sure of who you were, your frequency is off. That's the first thing. We tend to want to recreate people. You have to think of it like if you went to Porsche, you get a Panamera, you can add to it, you can enhance it, put a wing, put the rims. But who the hell is redoing the engine? Mm-hmm. So you have to say, you know, God, make me the best me to attract the kind of man that I want in my, this is what I want. It's like amenities in a car. He's coming with a certain engine. And that's who he's going to be, no matter what looks like on the outside. The engine, the wiring, the computer system, it's going to be what it is. So you got to make sure to include all that. But maybe it's you. That's the hardest thing that a lot of women don't do. Maybe it is you. Are you even being realistic about the kind of man you say you want? In my book, talk about the fact that you took 100 lawyers from New York to LA. Black, white, green, there's something in their personality that is going to be intrinsic and create a likeness from one to the other. That's why they're lawyers and not doctors. There's a certain thing, if you look at Scarface, Godfather, Legal Crime, there's certain characteristics all had in common.
That's
nice. So you got to know who you are, what you want, and I think a lot of women look at certain men in our society because of their vocation. Oh, he's a pro this, a pro that, a certified this, certified that. But they don't know what it takes to be with that man. What your life is going to look like, not what social media shows you, but what it looks like. High value men. I did a show on that not too long ago. The men that we would say are high value, they also don't work 9 to 5. They're not home.
Right.
So.
Right.
If you want constant visitation, you might need to look at a school principal, somebody with a different kind of job. But you definitely, and I love Dion, but He lives at Colorado University. They all night. A man with a purpose and a passion. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, they were busy. And I think that's something a lot of women don't, they don't really understand that. A lot of women that I've counseled, and you want a certain thing. You want a rapper. NBA YoungBoy is not. They traveling. They're doing shows, a boxer, whatever.
Well, given your experience in relationships, being married and divorced, talking to people from different countries, friends, experience, family. What do you think is the common denominator of why people is not sticking in relationships? Why is it always going left?
Well, the thing is this, statistically. So statistics say that 50% of marriages in America fail. That's not a global statistic, personally. I see a lot of commentary on and writings on Black women not getting married. I don't see too much about Black men not being married. They get married, just maybe not to us, or the kind of men that we want to be married to. Preparation is everything. I talked about it in my book. The girl, I saw a documentary, this was so good. The narrator said, the girl was 15 and the guy that she was going to get married to, his mother had come when her mom was pregnant, told her mother, you're going to have a girl and he's going to marry my son. Now they're in the jungle of Africa, and, the elders of the community, when she turned 14, would now spend a year building her up physically. She had to drink so much goat milk because fat is beautiful to them. Teaching her how to cook, teaching her to basically be what he was going to expect the groom to be. And then you see the narrator showing how the groom comes, and before he left his village, he built a house in the jungle. He built a house so that he has somewhere to bring his bride to be back to after the marriage. And then he's coming to her house to get her to meet her father. He's bringing cattle, kente cloth, some jewelry. He's bringing provisions. He's showing her father, I can take care of her the way you did her best. So I say that to say, in America, we have so many dynamics. It's acceptable to have children not be married. That's not acceptable in all cultures in the United States. We have situations where a lot of guys, because they've grown up with single parents, then they have a lot of times a mom who herself is not married, and she waiting for Dante to go to the NFL. So all the things he's gonna do for her, because now he's got to be the man she couldn't get. So now that's the dynamic. A lot of our men put in positions, that's in the Black community, where they are now expected to fill in the gap or be the man to their mom that they couldn't be. But when you got a wife, that can be a conflict. The components of baby mamas and where they want to be in the equation, even though the man has gotten married. I talk about all that in my book.
Send me a link to it so I can make sure I can post it.
I will. Right now, they have to call me directly. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to get a copy. I need it for myself. I just like to support authors, especially Black ones. You know what I'm saying? So.
Like I said, it was a special mission. It was a learning experience for me. Because in writing that book, I discovered I'm not perfect. You always think it's them and they did, but what do you do? Mm-hmm. And it's caused a lot of growth in myself. Where on one hand, I've become much more tolerant, much more willing to compromise. But then on the other hand, there are some things that I just have to realize about myself, that I can never compromise, and I would never be happy with someone bringing me certain circumstances. I cannot support them well because I don't have. There's certain circumstances I can't support well because I didn't grow up with those examples, and that's okay.
Gotcha. Man, well, I appreciate you coming on, dropping some heavy heat, some wisdom, some game, and just showing people what it looks like to get your mind together, get a dream, get that, and become successful. Tell the people where they can find you and what you got coming for the 2024.
Well, they can find me every Tuesday night in my closet. You go on Facebook right now and can request me as a friend. That way you'll be able to get in the closet if you have, in the first of the year, we're going to start advertising. So if you have a product, something you sell, get on Facebook, hit me up in my closet, message me. It's Facebook at Jennifer, JENNIFER, Barron, BARRON. You know, come and message me, tell me what you want to advertise, how you want to partner. If you want to be a guest on my show, I'm very, very open to, and the purpose of my platform is exposure. It's teaching, talking about some things the church didn't want to talk about a lot of issues. It's popping in the closet.
Yeah.
If I can help spearhead somebody else's project right now, we have been trending last few shows at like 1,500 views per show per week and growing. When I get off this call, I got to call somebody in London. It's crazy to me. I heard about the show and he wants to get on and he's got like a hoodie line. I'm like, why not? Why not? We need to in our community be as supportive as possible.
Absolutely. And make sure you guys also, you know, I know you guys want to tune into her show and all of that, but make sure you hit her up to consult with her too, because, you know, if you are a woman and you want some guidance, you know, it's always good to learn from seasoned women. That's how I learn. I learned the game from women. That's how I'm so smooth like that.
Well, that is great. I will say that my business consulting, God has really, really blessed it. Because many of us, you think you have a business, but you actually have a glorified hobby. And your hobby might be lucrative, but there's so many things, and I have so many different kinds of clients. A lot of minorities, I'm very proud of that, because a lot of times we can get the subcontract, but we cannot secure the track, the actual contract, because our businesses are not properly set up. Down to like a website. I have a credit restoration company. There's certain things that have to appear on that website to be in compliance with the FTC. If you have a healthcare business, if you have, so one thing I want to leave people with is stop trying to make your own website. Cut a deal, pay somebody. Look at your competition's website. What do they look like? So for my clients, I'm like the general contractor. We put them with accountants. We put them with income tax people, website designers, social media marketing companies, just everything that they need, and we develop their plan. I also do in-house funding, so I just want to let y'all know. You come to EssentialCreditSolutionsLLC.com. You can go in and sign up. If you're a realtor, banker, mortgage broker, send you to us. We're going to come. We're going to help you get your credit together. We're going to assist you with credit building products that we have, and we're going to get you certified with a home loan or a commercial loan with one of our in-house mortgage people that we deal with. And so you will go back to your realtors funded. You go back to your mortgage brokers fundable. All they got to do now is run the app. So,
good.
Really busy. I'm a builder. I love to build.
Love that energy. Well, like I said, it was a pleasure talking to you.
When you coming in the closet?
We'll figure it out.
You can't just put me out of your show without promising to be on mine.
It's all good. That's an easy play. And I'll come over there and
Thank you for allowing me to be on your platform. That's humbling. One day when I grow up, I'm going to be just like you.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, man. Blessings and positive energy.
2023. You know, I could be just like you if I wanted to. That's all another stuff.
All right. Y'all drop a comment. Let me know what y'all think. If anything stands out to y'all, you know, put that in the comment section. Let's have dialogue. Let's congregate. And, you know, if something that you heard and you didn't agree with, let's put it in the comment section as well, because I'm going to reply to everybody. I'm going to be cooking y'all. So make sure y'all make your presence known. And if y'all don't want to do all that, man, just put 100